Hi friends! Welcome to Wednesdays with Whitney. I am in San Diego. I am outside my favorite juice bar, which is now my second home. They greeted me back like I had never left, because it feels like I had never left because I was here, 10 days ago. So, today's Ask Me Anything, and I loved the questions that were coming in. Sorry that there's traffic and stuff, but we're gonna make the best of it. I'm also, my tripod right now is like a ledge and succulents. So we are currently being propped up by succulents. So let's just give a big thank you to nature for making this happen. I want to start with my favorite quote. So my favorite quote, Emily and I share this one. It's by Maya Angelou. And it goes, I'm not going to quote it specifically, but it says something to the extent of people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And that to me is the quintessential, that is it, that's life. That is what life means to me, is that the way that I make people feel is who I am, it's what I am, it's how I show up, it is it. If I am not making people feel better when they left me, then I am doing something wrong. This is actually a really great lead into why I'm in San Diego. So, I've been in San Diego, I was in San Diego for 10 days. I've been attending HeartCore Business Leadership. And as many of you know, I signed up for this leadership pretty sight unseen. Like, someone I trusted called me and said, hey, you should do this. I was like, cool, why not? Let's go to San Diego. I was really thrilled about the idea of experiencing something new in a new city with a ton of people I didn't know. And for me, that was a big enough draw to say yes. And that quote is the essence of what this program is. It's one of the questions from Angela Carter was, what sets HeartCore apart? Oh, I'm sorry, it was from Trisha. What set HeartCore apart from most other programs in business seminars? And I have to be honest, I haven't done a lot of business programs or seminars. In fact, I've done very few. I have learned my business stuff from other business owners, from just showing up, from asking questions, from doing. I learn mostly from doing. And then, failing and then doing again. But what sets HeartCore apart is that it is not a business leadership sense in the sense that you're going to go in and create a business plan. Like, I didn't need that. I don't need that. Most of us, if we have the drive and the will, do not need help with our business plan because it will just pour out of us. What I love about this program is that Shanda, who started the whole company, was teaching email marketing. She was teaching different business platforms. And what she said was, I can't teach business owners how to build a business if they haven't built up themselves first. So this whole program is taking you down to your basic level. And by basic, I mean, it stripped me down to the things that weren't great. Like, I had to look at all of the things that I knew, but it was like this beautiful mirror. Well, sometimes it was a beautiful mirror, sometimes it was not the most beautiful mirror. Of all the things that were holding me back, all the things that I was telling myself, all my unworthiness thoughts, unlovable thoughts, non-trusting thoughts, just constant judging thoughts, all of these emotions that were affecting every single decision in my life. So what sets it apart is that it's like the deepest counseling you will ever do in your life, but there's no counselor. Like, you are your own counselor. You are going deep into it. And it's also at the same time like leadership camp in the sense that there's 77 other people in this with you. There's 77 human triggers in this with you. So as you're discovering, what triggers me in everyday life, what motivates me, what do I resist, what am I attracted to, you are faced with it in the form of your peers, in the form of people who are showing up to do the exact same thing. So not only was I learning all these things about myself, but I was practicing and witnessing how I react in a really safe place where people knew how to give me feedback so that I could see it. It was truly magical because you know that you create patterns, right? We all have patterns that we create that are either beneficial for us or not beneficial, or we build up these walls that we think are beneficial because they keep us safe, but really what are they keeping out? One of the biggest things I learned was that my emotional exhaustion that I was feeling all the time was because when people were saying good, kind things or people were trying to pour into me, I was completely shutting that down. I had gotten so tired from building my business for 3.5 years that I had shut down letting anything come in. And that's just the truth. Like, anybody who is close to me will confirm that I just wiped out for a bit, because showing up with the emotional energy that I do to shoots, that I do to every interaction I had, it took everything. Like, it took all the out. And I thought that by shutting off the in, it would conserve, and it did the exact opposite. So I've really been working on reciprocity, giving and receiving, and it has already changed my interactions. Just that small but huge shift. Anybody who's working on big stuff like this, I know you're in this with me. Working on small shifts on like judgment. Oh my God, guys, if you are like anything like me, I assess the moment somebody walks in, I have this judgment of them, and up until now. And this training has taught me that everyone is a reflection of my own insecurities. So any judgment I place on somebody else is just a reflection of actually how I'm judging myself. And like knowing that, I think we can say a lot of these things to ourselves, but knowing that at our core, believing that what we see in ourselves is what we see in others, that's really powerful. So I am back here today to practice that because, you know, I was in this microcosm of people who were all doing and saying the same things and were experiencing each other the same way. And then I go home for 10 days and, you know, you slide back right into things. It's hard. You're challenged. You know, is back into 2 businesses and my home life and my family life and all that good stuff. And I'm so glad that I'm right back out here and it's getting like pounded back into me. And people are like, what are you going to do today? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't known. Every single day I've shown up to this thing, I haven't known a darn thing that I'm doing. And every single day, it's been amazing. I mean, some days it's been really, really hard. If you watched that one Wednesdays with Whitney where my eyes were really puffy and I'd been crying for hours and hours, yeah, that day was hard. And today might be hard. This makeup I put on might be totally worthless, but we'll see. So that's HeartCore leadership. That's what I've been doing. Anybody who wants to know more about it, please reach out to me personally. There's a lot of you that I've already talked to about it. I'm obsessed, so there's that. I want to get to some of the other questions. So one of the questions was, what's my morning routine? So I wake up pretty early, anywhere between 5:30 and 6. I do that so that I can get up, I can do my 10 minutes of meditation, which has been a big stretch for me to even take that time. I use Headspace to help me with that right now as I'm building that practice up. I make a smoothie, and I started here, oh my gosh, because I went paleo right before all of this started, so a lot of my breakfast time had to change. So this smoothie, I'm now making at home, and it has pineapple and mango and lime and turmeric and coconut butter and coconut water, and I think I got it all. So I've been making that at home. When I'm not in smoothie mode, I do hard-boiled eggs or roasted sweet potatoes. I'm not a big breakfast person, so those things to me sound great in the morning, and they give me a lot of energy. As many of you know who have interacted with me in a shooting capacity or in any capacity, I have a lot of energy, and I need to support that with food. So making the shift to working with Natural Health Improvement Center and them helping me with my supplements and my nutrition and what exactly I should be putting in my body, like specifically for me, has transformed my energy level. Like before, I felt like I was pushing on my energy, like I have to get there, I have to be energetic. And now I just have it. Like I'm not struggling for it every day. So like huge change. Whoa. So thank you to Izzy there at Natural Health Improvement Center. I just saw her yesterday. And I have like my immune system is up and functioning at 100% at this point. This is like a month into this. My adrenals are back up and going. Like my stomach was a disaster. And that's all up and going. So morning routine plus Natural Health Improvement Center kind of checks those off the list. Somebody asked what's the hardest part about going paleo. Honestly, I made the shift right before I came out here, and out here there's not a lot of time to eat. So like it was easy to get in the habit. I saw a friend at the airport last night and he was like, let's get a beer. And there's that social pressure when somebody says, let's get a beer, to say yes. And I was like, oh, is this, I don't know this person super well, but we know each other. And so we're getting up to the bar, he orders his beer, and I was like, club soda and a lime. And I just, it's like when you go to any event and there's free booze and you're like, should I be drinking this because it's free? Like, what is that compulsion? but I feel it, I felt it. And so like really just showing up to these events and saying no to alcohol, so I haven't drank since I started this leadership program. They actually ask you not to drink while you're going through the first 10 days. That expectation didn't continue, but honestly, my anxiety level is so low, my social anxiety level is so low, my anxiety level in general is so low that I have not had any desire to drink alcohol. Like it's just not been necessary to whatever extent we feel that alcohol is necessary before. So that's just a little thought on paleo. Okay, so I've written down all the questions. My mantra, oh my gosh, I love this question. I do have a couple of different mantras. One came out of this leadership. And so I have a contract with myself, and it is, I am an open, vulnerable, compassionate leader. And these were all words, I'll say it again. I am an open, vulnerable, compassionate leader. And these were all words that I needed to work towards, that I needed to walk towards. I could have chosen words like, I am a committed, powerful, resilient leader, but then I would have been like, yeah, I am. I totally am. I'm all those things. Like I'm that. But me working on being completely open, very vulnerable, and compassionate, those are a little bit of a stretch for me. So, wait, hang on. Okay, we're back. So I chose words that were going to remind me of what I was headed towards and what my goals were. So that's one mantra that I use. And then the other one is, I created this one before I even left for leadership. And I was meditating one morning, and I can actually get out on my roof and like sit on my roof during sunrise, which is such a cool experience. Thank you, Sarah. I love you too. And I was sitting there and I was having one of these white knuckle moments, right? Of like, holy crap, I have to get through this day. But I was giving myself these 10 minutes, and the thought that came to me when I shut my eyes was, because I've been doing this for 3.5 years, I've been like white knuckling this and like pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And I just thought, I'm going to float on all of the good that I have poured into this universe, into this town, into this community. I am going to float. I am going to let people support me. I'm going to let people carry me. I'm going to let people be there for me. And this was the thought I had before and I had no idea how to do this, guys. Anybody who knows me normally knows that my response is like, I got it. Everything's fine. And I'm going to quit that. I'm going to straight up quit that. And I have been quitting that and asking for help when I needed it, and like opening doors that I previously had not opened. But that thought has a lot of significance as I went through the training. And there was a really, really amazing moment during the training that just confirmed that I was in the right place at the right time. I'm not a huge I'm a universe person. I believe in energy in the universe. And that was a moment for me where I was like, I did this. Like, I created all of this goodness and I prepared for it and I'm here. So it was really cool to have that moment, to know that I was in the right place at the right time. So those are my two mantras. Lots of questions about how I balance Ivory House and brand launch. Balance is not a thing for me, guys. And if I ever pretend that I have any of that, like, just it's not real. A lot of you need to know and remember that when I run two businesses, I do not have children. I, at this point, do not have a pet. I have people in my life that I love and I spend a lot of time with, but I have a life that is completely and totally dedicated to the things that I love doing most, which are the people that I love the most and the businesses that I'm creating. So my life, in a sense, is my business, because every single person in my life is a client. Every single friend plays dual roles. And so everybody, both, I'm so lucky to be supported by my clientele in a friendship capacity. And so that's what helps me do both of these things. And also Emily helping me with brand launch. But Ivory House, I have 40 to 50 hours of support a week to do that business. So at this point, Megan, it works around 30, maybe more, depending on our weeks. She works 30 or more hours a week for me. And Amanda works anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week for me. So that shift, hiring Amanda, so she's newer, has allowed me to focus in a way that I was not focusing before, and to do some of those bigger things that I found important. So with brand launch, it is my creative space. I know that probably sounds really crazy, since photography is considered by most to be creative. And I'm not saying that it's not creative, but like Ivory House is what I, to a certain extent, have figured out. Like I know what I'm doing there. I understand how it works. I've built the models. I've leaned into the models. I understand the marketing scheme. Like, I have die-hard clients that do the job of referring for me. Like, I don't have to worry about a lot of that stuff. And I am so lucky. I'm not lucky. I worked really, really hard for that for 3 years, and now I have it. And that's super cool. And now I'm in that space with brand launch of like, Emily and I are building personal branding curriculum, which is so much fun, but so much work. So much work. And it's something I've never done before. And that's really, first for me, that's what I need to keep going, is I need to be challenged. I need to create something new. I need to learn something new. And to create new things, I have to be pushing myself outside of my box. So we're building that curriculum right now. We're gonna launch registration probably sometime in September, and then the first course will start in January, and it's gonna be robust, guys. It is big. It is so big and beautiful. And then obviously the DSM Hummingbird Charm has been such a beautiful, explosive event in our lives, and bringing community around together. Can you? I will, Matt. Dance party for you. So the DSM Hummingbird Charm, that was Emily and I's expression of community. That's how we see community. And actually, this is a great place. Somebody asked me goals for brand launch and hummingbirds. So brand launch goal right now is to get this personal branding curriculum up, amazing, interactive, serving people, and ready to go in January. So if you are ready for that, if you're ready to dive into what you see Emily and I doing on the internet all the time, and you want to learn and you want to have the confidence to do that, and you want to learn how to present yourself in a way that people will actually engage with. I mean, that's the thing, right? People can present themselves anytime, but usually it falls down because you're not connecting, you're not truly showing up. So a lot of this training will be about how do you show up and how do you connect and why are you there? Why are you there? Why are we on this social platform? Let's get clear about that. So that's goal number 1 for brand launch. And goal number 2 is building our DSM Hummingbird Charm to 1,000 birds, and then just serving as many businesses as possible, businesses, brands, and nonprofits, in having this beautiful word of mouth and social media interaction that our birds create. And right now we're working with the Natural Health Improvement Center, and the amount of like inbox messages I'm getting from people who are interested, the practitioners there, Sarah and Izzy, have been loving it, loving the interactions. We've been having such a good, beautiful time. And I know that Emily's currently working with the Iowa Clinic, and the feedback from the Iowa Clinic has been gorgeous. Oh my gosh. So if you've been seeing these things, the big thing to know about our birds is that they run on perks. So none of our birds show up for a job unless they actually want to try it out. And that's been really, really important to us, is that the birds are actively engaged and want to be there, because we want the business interaction to take place from a really altruistic place, so that the birds don't feel like, I'm going to go chase $100. Like, no, that's not the point. The birds want to experience the business, give back, and understand the business and what it has to offer even better. So 2 big goals that we're working on there. They're huge. They feel massive, but we're working on it. Okay, so another question was, what keeps me up at night? Oh gosh, guys. I'm going to be a jerk, and I'm going to say at this point, nothing. Not to say that I do not ruminate and I do not spin, but my bedtime routine is sacred, guys. If anybody knows me, you know that like me and bedtime, we have a relationship. And I've done this very specifically because for years I had a hard time falling asleep. I would lay at the ceiling. But I think that I have gotten to a point in my professional life and my emotional life that when I go to bed at night, I feel like I have done everything that I can do. And like for me, the thing that I go to bed thinking is like, this sleep is the most important thing I do for myself every day. So there's nothing more important to think about than shutting my brain off and getting that sleep. And I have a routine that gets me there, and it's awesome. And I stick to it, and it's really important because for me to show up like this, I need to sleep like a queen. So I sleep like a queen. How do I reset? I reset with my hammock. I reset by walking with friends. I reset by meditating in the morning. I reset with sleep. I reset by seeing people that just pour into me. But you know, my hammock's a big part of that. I watch very, very, very little TV. Like very little TV. And I think that has helped a lot. I've recently started, now that Winston has moved in with Hunter, so he's not living with me anymore, he's in Charlotte. Winston and I used to have TV time because that was like our time, because he's not allowed in my bed. But now that I don't have Winston at my house, I read before bed instead of TV, and that has also been a big game changer. So all those things, those are reset. Reading for me, Writing is probably the biggest reset I have. If I'm spinning about something, if I am like in a tizzy, I just open the notes app on my phone and I write it out. And so that's where you'll see a lot of my more, intense posts come from, are usually like, okay, just getting in there. So writing is a big reset for me. And then this last question that I'll close with, because it's so important, and I've had such a weird relationship with this question. So the question is, how do you measure success? Guys, success. This word itself, people started using it in reference to me about a year into me building my business. And that was awesome. I am so glad that people felt that I was successful. But what a lot of people didn't know that you can't talk about when people are saying these things to you is that I was still financially struggling in an incredibly large way. I had started my business with literally $15. I mean, like when I started my business, I drained my bank account down to $15 and was replenishing that from the ground up. I mean, for me, starting a business meant risking all my financial stability in order to have everything I wanted in the future. So I had a really tough time accepting success as a label for myself for the first, I would say 2.5, almost 3 years of my business. Until recently, I do feel like Ivory House is really successful, and I am successful with it. And the reason I feel that is because I get to walk into any Starbucks, any Hy-Vee, and see clients that will come up and give me a big hug. I get to walk into any room and see people that I've made an impact on. I get to have unapologetically extra viewing sessions where people actually cry because they've been seen. And I am not busy worrying about where my money is coming from. I'm actually able to be there with them, feeling that emotion with them, because I'm not worried about my paycheck. And part of that was giving up worrying about my paycheck, because at some point you just have to realize that, like, if I'm going to take all these big risks, the amount of money in my bank account is not going to be the measure of my success. Sometimes it is, and then sometimes it's just not. The measure of my success is the amount of people that I positively impact. That's it. The measure of my success is the amount of people that I positively impact. And I have created not only business models, but a way of life that reinforces that every single day. So that's where I am with success. I hope that helps. If success for somebody, I just want to caution. If success for you is a car you own, or a house you buy, or a bag you want to purchase, yeah, but then you'll have it, and then what's next? I would really, really encourage you to let go of that kind of stuff, because I have read so many books by entrepreneurs. My favorite entrepreneur, Mike Michalowicz, he writes The Pumpkin Plan, Toilet Paper Entrepreneur, gosh, so many of the books that I love. And he writes about how he made his first, million, 2 million, and then how he bought all of his success, all the things that mark success, and then he went bankrupt in front of everybody. As somebody who, was living in a multi-million-dollar house, he went bankrupt because he spent his success, he spent his money looking successful rather than continuing to lean into what made him feel successful. And that story, I listened to that in the very beginning of building my business, and I knew that I was going to carry that. I was going to carry that a really long time, that the outside things were not going to matter at all, which is why I spend my money. I spend every extra dollar and some dollars I don't have on things like leadership training so that my heart feels good every day, and nutrition so that my body feels good every day. If I'm going to spend money, it's going to be on money that goes in me, literally in me. That's it. I mean, yes, I do like clothes, but not to the extent that I feel like it proves anything about me. So, yeah, that's my thoughts for today. Thank you all for your incredible questions. Next week I will be back in Des Moines. I think I'm with Matt McIver, and we're going to talk about everything that he's up to. But I just really enjoy these weekly touch points that we have together, this commitment that we have together, and thank you all for listening and being here with me and being on this journey with me. And I will see you next week. Bye.